Black Lives Matter activist Pamela Moses was convicted in Tennessee of illegally registering to vote back in 2019. Her crime was that she tried to restore her voting rights after she was convicted of a felony that under state law resulted in a lifetime voting ban. Moses told the judge that she didn't realize that she was banned from voting for life, and that local election officials and her probation officer had both given her incorrect information. Let's take a listen.
You voted 6 times as a convicted felon.
I did not know that I had lost my rights to vote because nobody gave me notice of it. All I did was try to get my rights to vote back the way the people at the Election Commission told me.
The judge was not having it, and in January, he sentenced her to 6 years and 1 day behind bars. We are joined tonight by Pamela Moses' attorney, Dr. Bida Nyanwu, and Blair Bowie, a lawyer with the Campaign Legal Center. Thank you both so much for your time. I'd like to start with you, Blair, for the 30,000-foot view here. Pamela was sentenced to 6 years and a day. What's a typical sentence for voter fraud for illegally registering to vote?
You know, Lindsay, we don't see these convictions very often, frankly. This is the very first time that we've ever seen someone be prosecuted and convicted simply for trying to restore their right to vote. But we have seen a lot of instances recently of actual intentional voter fraud, open voter fraud, that have received really slaps on the wrist. We've seen primarily white men in the last election admit to intentionally voting multiple times. And in most cases, those resulted in no prison time or only misdemeanor convictions.
And Blair, staying with you just for a moment, voting laws for felons are different around the country. In Pamela's case, she argued that she was given incorrect information. But more generally, is it fairly common for people to get confused by these voting rules?
Absolutely. Across the country, there are over 24 million Americans who have been convicted of felonies, and the vast majority of those people actually retain the right to vote. More than 18 million of those people do have the right to vote, but most of them believe that they can't. And that's because state laws are a patchwork of different rules and different processes for restoring your right to vote. And it can be really confusing, and there's just a lot of misinformation out there.
And Dr. Bida Nyanwu, the sentencing hearing got very contentious, with the judge ultimately saying that he just didn't believe Pamela. Have you talked to her subsequently? Did she expect that the judge would give her the benefit of the doubt?
She was shocked because she was actually given a plea deal, but she refused. She said no, she did not do what they are alleging that she did. She did not falsify any document. Yet, the prosecutor took it upon herself to either show that she is a tough prosecutor or otherwise, while we have so many felony cases in Shelby County. Yet, the one they chose to prosecute was Ms. Moses, who was trying to get her rights restored in order for her to vote. Number one, she's a black woman. Number two, it's a way to disenfranchise African Americans in this country, especially in Tennessee, a red state. Number three, the judge has an axe to grind here because the judge cannot think for Pamela Moses, even when Ms. Moses on the witness stand stated that she did not know, but the judge disagreed with her. And I found that very, very questionable that the judge knew or knows the thinking of Ms. Moses.
And Blair, Dr. Bida Nyanwu just brought up her race and gender. Both of you have said that Tennessee's complex voting laws have a disparate impact on black people. Why do you feel that is?
Well, it's important to know that Tennessee's disenfranchisement law is a literal Jim Crow law. It has been in the Tennessee Constitution since shortly after the Civil War. It was specifically designed and openly designed at the time to disenfranchise black voters, and it continues to have that impact. Across the state, more than 450,000 Tennesseans can't vote because of felony disenfranchisement, and that includes more than 21% of the black voting age population. So 1 in 5 black people in Tennessee cannot vote because of this law.
And Dr. Netanyahu, finally, a jury convicted Pamela, but they may not have realized that this crime carries a 4 to 8 year sentence in Tennessee. It was a judge who gave her that 6-year sentence. What message do you think that this sends to voters, to people who are just trying to fulfill a democratic right? And what does this mean for voting rights more broadly?
Basically, this has a chilling effect. There's no question about that. A lot of African Americans in this state, they're going to think twice before they even try to go before the court or the election commission to try to even find out whether they are eligible to vote again after they have expired their sentence. I find it as a way to disenfranchise mainly African Americans in this state.
And Blair, I know I said that was going to be my last, but I'm just curious. This is a bit of a moot point in the case of Ms. Moses, but I am wondering if you feel that somebody who has been convicted of a felon and they have served their time, once they come back out and they're off probation, their freedom has been restored, do you feel that they should have the right to vote?
Absolutely. And the most recent large-scale referendum we've seen on this was in Florida, where more than 65% of the electorate across party lines approved a ballot measure that would automatically restore voting rights for folks after they finish probation and parole. So this is a very popular opinion. Most Americans believe that once someone has served their time, they should be allowed to re-enter society and to vote and be a part of our democracy.
Dr. Netanyahu and Blair Bowie, we thank you both so much for your time and insight. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having us.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.